Hi, this is Arthur, and this is a summary and explanation of the story of the Archon Quest, Chapter 4, Act 6, Bedtime Story, released in the game Genshin Impact version 4.7. The Traveler and Paimon meet with Catherine and Sumeru, where she gives them a commission. The commission is to find a missing villager from Vimara Village. They head to Vimara Village and talk to the villagers. All the villagers have fond memories of the missing villager, but can't remember anything to identify him. As they're speaking to a villager named Atosa, members of the Abyss Order attack and the Traveler defeats them. Atosa mentions the hilichurls in the area seem more agitated than normal. They then bump into Dainsleif. Dainsleif says the Abyss Order is up to something and he's here to investigate. They head back to Vimara Village and question villagers before Dainsleif dumps some information on them. Dainsleif says there is hope for the Traveler to reconcile with her sibling. Dainsleif says the sinner's name is Vedderfulnir. Side note, in a prior Archon quest, the Traveler relived one of her siblings' memories where they heard the voice of someone called the Sinner. Vedderfulnir is also Dainsleif's older brother. Dainsleif adds there are 5 sinners of Conria. They are the Wise, Hroptatyr, the Visionary, Vedderfulnir, Gold, Rhindaughter, the Foul, Sertologi, and Rakir of Solnari, Rerir. Paimon recounts that Rhindaughter created Albedo, Sertologi is the master of Skirk who is Child's master, and Vedderfulnir inspired Clothar Alberic to create the Abyss Order. The Traveler recounts the stone slates from Fontaine's Archon quest outlining the prophecy were likely written by Vedderfulnir. Dainsleif says the 5 sinners were once great people in Conria. Along with Dainsleif, the 5 were supposed to stop the Vinster King and prevent the Cataclysm. Instead, the 5 fell for the call of the Abyss and divided a great power among themselves. In doing so, they became the 5 sinners, transcendent beings possessing world-shattering power. When the Cataclysm occurred, not one of the 5 sinners fought to prevent it. This is why Dainsleif vows vengeance against them. If the Traveler's sibling and the 5 sinners are not stopped, they will likely betray the world again. Dainsleif comments that since they last met, he's been investigating the Loom of Fate and the Eye of the First Field Tiller. Side note, these 2 items were important parts of past Archon quests. Dainsleif currently possesses the Eye of the First Field Tiller. Dainsleif suspects the Loom of Fate has something to do with ley lines. They call it a night and meet with Dainsleif the next day. Dainsleif says he suddenly remembers handing the Eye of the First Field Tiller to the missing villager. Dainsleif suspects the Abyss Order is trying to obtain the Eye and is influencing his memories. Dainsleif wants to confirm the Eye's location and they head over to the cave where he hid it. They go into the cave where they find members of the Abyss Order. They defeat them and Dainsleif says this was as he suspected. The false memories were a trap laid by the Abyss Order to follow him to the Eye's location. Dainsleif notices the ley lines are disturbed. He tells the Traveler if she heads back to Vimara Village they may find the missing villager. The Traveler leaves while Dainsleif stays behind. The Traveler's sibling then arrives. It seems Dainsleif intentionally stayed behind to confront the sibling. Back with the Traveler, as they head to the village they see a bunch of pacified hilichurls. They hear a voice that seemingly tries to comfort the hilichurls. They later reach the village and talk to the villagers. No one seems to know anything about a missing villager. The Traveler thinks for a bit and concludes the following. They are currently within someone's memories. Someone is implanting false memories into the villagers. Within these false memories, time does not pass. And they are currently within Atosa's memories. They head over to Atosa who is talking to someone. The Traveler concludes this person is the missing villager. The Traveler then deduces the missing villager is Carrie-Bear Alberic. Side note, Carrie-Bear Alberic was featured in a prior Archon quest where the Traveler relived one of her siblings' memories. We learned there that Carrie-Bear along with the Conrians of mixed ancestry were turned into hilichurls during the Cataclysm 500 years ago. However, Carrie-Bear's father, Clothar Alberic, figured out later on how to give Carrie-Bear back his mind. Carrie-Bear says he came here to Atosa's memory to say goodbye. They then leave Atosa to what Carrie-Bear calls the realm of his consciousness to talk. Carrie-Bear says he is someone who no longer exists in the real world. Carrie-Bear died and was used as a tool to create the Loom of Fate. The Carrie-Bear they see before them is a remnant of consciousness left over within the Loom of Fate. The Loom of Fate is a device capable of weaving ley lines. Memories flow through ley lines. In its semi-complete form, the Loom of Fate can create and implant memories. Once completed, the Loom of Fate can change the entire world. The Carrie-Bear in front of them has some control over the semi-complete Loom of Fate. This Carry Bear used the Loom of Fate to implant memories of himself into the Vimara villagers. Carry Bear did this because he felt lonely and wanted to be part of their lives. Carry Bear then talks about Dainsleif. It seems Dainsleif kept the eye of the first field tiller on himself. Dainsleif's plan was to lure the Abyss Order using the eye. He would then confront the Traveler's sibling, but not before handing off the eye over to the Traveler. Carry Bear confesses that before they entered the cave, Carry Bear implanted a false memory into Dainsleif where he already gave the eye to the Traveler. That means the Traveler's sibling likely fought Dainsleif in the cave and took the eye since the handover never happened. Carry Bear says they needed the eye to complete the Loom of Fate. Carry Bear doesn't know what the Traveler's sibling is planning, and Carry Bear had his own plans. Carry Bear recounts that when his father used the power of the Abyss to restore his consciousness, he suffered immense mental anguish. His father, Clothar, used a fairy tale to calm Carry Bear down and comfort him. Carry Bear wanted to use the Loom of Fate to implant a memory of a fairy tale into the minds of all Hilichurls in order to offer them a moment of peace. This explains all the pacified Hilichurls they saw earlier. With his goal accomplished, Carry Bear now disappears. After Carry Bear is gone, the Traveler's sibling appears. The sibling says with Carry Bear gone, this place will soon disappear too. The two siblings now have a chat. The Traveler's sibling mentions he just had a battle with Dainsleif where he likely took the eye. The sibling also says the Heavenly Principles is currently asleep, and it has been for the last 500 years since the cataclysm in Conria. The sibling hates the Heavenly Principles and blames it for what happened to Carry Bear. The sibling mentions that at the end of his journey, he arrived at a place known as the Sea of Flowers at the end. The world then starts to break down, and as it does, the sibling says they won't have any memory of this conversation. The Traveler then wakes up to Paimon. Paimon says the villagers found them outside the village sleeping and couldn't wake them up, so they brought them into the village. Paimon mentions Dainsleif came by earlier and checked on them before leaving. Dainsleif looked injured. They then speak with the villagers, and all villagers now have memories of Carry Bear saying goodbye and leaving the village. The Traveler does not remember the conversation with her sibling, but does find a photo in her pocket of herself, her sibling, and Carry Bear. And that is the end of this quest in this video. If you've liked what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.